I was sitting in my front room watching TV, and all I heard 4 or 5 shots, bam, 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 about 4 or 5 times.
Somebody just killed my son for no reason.
In moments like these, we need to come together as a community and show love and support for one another.
Put the guns down. No more violence.
It's really sad, upset and sad.
August 9th, 2023. It was 3 p.m. when 911 began receiving calls in the small city of Franklin, Virginia. Gunfire had erupted in the 300 block of HEADSH Street, a short dead end with some upkept and some rundown homes. Police would arrive on scene locating an unresponsive 10-year-old boy who'd been shot at one house and a 37-year-old male who'd been shot at another.
10 years old.
While securing the crime scene, the fire department began life-saving aid while transporting the victims to a hospital 7 minutes away. The 37-year-old would then be life-flighted to another hospital, but 10-year-old Lamar J. Holden would never wake up. Investigators would speak with witnesses at the scene who stated 4 people arrived at the home of an adult male. A woman inside the home yelled for the 5 children playing outside to get inside. An altercation broke out between her husband and the 4 people that pulled up. That's when one of them drew a gun and opened fire. 10-year-old Lamar J. Holden, a neighbor who'd been playing with the kids at the home, had ran inside with the rest of them. He was peeking out the blinds to see what was going on when he was shot in the head. His body...
That's crazy. Jit ain't know what was going on. He just... being legit.
He fell limp against the front door. The woman opened the door, and Lamar J. collapsed on the front porch, unresponsive. One of the boy's relatives would pick his limp body up off the porch, running him to his own home, to his own family, where EMS later found him. Witnesses would speak with investigators providing descriptions of the shooter, and officers would eventually identify the killer as 24-year-old Tashonda Drayton, who's also known as the rapper 23 Brazy. Warrants would go out for the big body 5.
See, that's the thing. All these rappers, bruh, they want to kill, spin. This shit crazy.
5'11", 250-pound female on charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, malicious wounding, shooting into an occupied dwelling, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, threat to burn or damage a building, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and discharging a firearm in a public space. Come to find out, 23 Brazy was out on bail at the time of the shooting. Days later, U.S. Marshals would announce a $5,000 reward that was quickly raised to $10,000 for information leading to her capture. She was to be considered armed.
They finna get in 10. They finna tell me.
Armed and dangerous with ties to the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. By now, her face was all over the news, social media, and YouTube. Her Instagram would be taken down, comments on her music videos would be turned off, and the hunt was on to locate the child killer. It would become even more disturbing as lyrics found in one of her videos would describe spraying kids with gunfire.
If you beef with a rapper, pop up at a show. The only thing spraying is kids for sure.
4 months after the murder, the U.S. Marshals would yet again raise the reward, this time offering $20,000 to anyone with information leading to 23 Brazy.
She rapping about spinning and hitting a jet. This shit crazy.
He's capture. The Marshals would state she's known to identify as a male and goes by the name Berlin Montrell and the nickname Punny. Come to find out, Punny 2 Brazy was her original rap name, and she would change it after the death of a close friend. Back in April of 2020, officers responded to a shooting where they found 23-year-old Stephen White III dead at the scene. Over 40 shell casings would be recovered, and the following day when medical examiners conducted an autopsy, they stopped counting the bullet wounds because there were so many. Stephen White III was known as 3 Brazy, and his death would be the birth of Brazy Gang, 3 World, and Punny's new name, 23 Brazy. Following his passing, 23 Brazy can be seen amongst family and friends showing love to 3, and her affiliation at this point is clear. With the $20,000 reward out, U.S. Marshals will now state she has ties up and down the East Coast from New York to Atlanta, and it's likely her affiliation is what the Marshals were referring to. What would come as a surprise was she wasn't in a different state. In fact, she was only 20 miles from where 10-year-old Lamar J died, and 10 months after his death, she'd be captured.
A Franklin fugitive on the run for nearly a year is caught by U.S. Marshals in Southampton County.
I'm at Brookside Square Apartments, where Tashonda Drayton was taken into custody after a 10-month manhunt. One woman who asked that we conceal her identity had just stepped out her door with a cup of coffee and was met with dozens of U.S. Marshals.
It was scary. It was very, very scary.
She watched in disbelief as Drayton was escorted away from the building.
There's a lot of children out here. And then the fact that, that they had her here.
It's a moment Senior Inspector Robert Bowers with the U.S. Marshals Service has waited for since August.
And then Drayton came to the top of the stairs and said she was coming out, and she said she had her hands up. And at that point, I visibly was able to see that it was Drayton.
On Tuesday, U.S. Marshals found Drayton hiding in an apartment directly across from the best friend's home.
U.S. Marshals would announce that despite a $20,000 reward, they didn't receive any credible tips. They believe a few people knew of 23 Brazy's whereabouts and that she stayed inside for months at a time without moving. Investigators spent countless hours surveilling the Brookside Square Apartments in Southampton as they learned that's where 23 Brazy's best friend lived. And on June 18, 2024, Marshals knocked on an apartment unit's door, to which a female came out. Shortly after, 23 Brazy surrendered. Come to find out, she'd been living with a woman who later admitted she was 23 Brazy's cousin. It's believed her family had assisted her in hiding early on in the investigation, and at this time, no charges against the family have been filed for hiding the alleged child killer. With her capture a sure sign of relief for the victim's family, this is only the beginning of a case that may take years to finish. 23 Brazy is facing life in prison, as Virginia was the first southern state to abolish the death penalty. At trial, the family will have to relive the nightmare that took their 10-year-old boy, and 23 Brazy will have to plead her case. It appears clear that he wasn't the intended target, as she fired at a man while striking his home. But any legal gun owner understands he or she is not only responsible for the gun, but every bullet inside of it that's fired from it. 23 Brazy's act.
And every bullet, for everybody that was in there, that's attempted right there.
Actions then, along with running from the law, will likely see no remorse from a judge or jury. The fact that she removed all comments on YouTube but not her videos shows she still wants the fame, she just doesn't want the criticism. But all that 10-year-old boy wanted was to play outside. We'll just have to wait and see how this case unfolds. I send my condolences to the victim's family and all of those affected by what happened. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
That's crazy, folks.